A picture, they say, is worth more than 1,000 words. There's no one better to tell us more on this. Capturing his story today is George Okoro, the ace wedding photographer.
My name is George Okoro. My middle name is Chinonso, for those who don't know. So you can call me Okoro George Chinonso or Okoro Chinonso George, whichever one you choose. I'm from Imo State, from Arrondissok to be precise. I hope you know where that is. Arrondissok is in Idato North local government. And it's in Imo State, but I grew up in Aba. Yeah, I spent most of my childhood in Aba. The family of 7. We used to be 8, but now we're 7. 2 boys, 5 girls. Yeah, so now I have my own cute little, nuclear family. I have a lovely wife. Her name is Rekia. And we have the most beautiful baby girl. Her name is Farah Chimamaka. Is her Igbo name. Then she has a Hausa name, of course. So you can choose to call her Farah or Chimamaka. She's a precious gift from God. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, she's a strong girl. She doesn't cry, and she doesn't even fall sick. She's just the perfect baby. So for me now, family is everything. I enjoy spending time with my wife and my daughter at home. So I try to balance it because my work is very demanding. There's a lot of pressure. I spend time outside the house and also even outside of my city. But I try as much as possible to balance it from time to time. My favorite sport is football, yeah? But growing up, especially when I was in secondary school, I was part of the relay team. So I'm a sprinter. So I sprint, I play football, and I play basketball. But my height didn't let me explore my basketball talent that much because the moment I got into the university and everybody's all big and buff, so they started bullying me on the basketball pitch. So I left that one for them. And even now, I don't find time to play football, but I watch football. And I don't sprint anymore, so favorite sport, football. I did my primary school in Aba. I went on to do my high school in Ikotepene, Federal Government College. It was a very interesting experience, There's no school like Ikotepene. After that, I had my first degree in Igbinedion University, Okada, where I studied economics and development studies. After the university, I went on to do my youth service in Bauchi State, Azari, small town called Azari in Bauchi State. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Kola was impressed watching the man handle his set.
That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. Trying to reach the things that I can't see. Am I wrong for thinking out the box from where I stay? Am I wrong for saying that I choose another way? I ain't trying to do what everybody else doing, just cause everybody doing what they all do. If one thing I know, I fall but I grow. I'm walking out
a typical day is wake up, plan my day, have breakfast, converse with my wife. We spend a lot of time talking in the morning before I leave for work. Get to work. If I have a photo shoot, we prep for it. If I don't, I work on my meetings, consultations, plan for photo shoots ahead, check how the business is doing in terms of revenue. It's just general stuff as a businessman, basically, but usually very demanding. Sometimes I end my days very late.
The Aba-grown young man reminisces his childhood.
Aba is, we were growing up, like when we were really little, we were just between the house and school and maybe playing around with our neighbors, playing football. I love to play football a lot, so we play football a lot in the compound. If we can't get to play football in the compound, we play football in our living room, in my father's living room, till he gets back. So when he gets back, we arrange the whole house and we run back into the room. But if he's not around, in the living room there, we play football. Then apart from that, go to church on Sundays, visit family, friends, there's a popular sports club in Aba where people go and hang out. It's called Aba Sports Club. So, so when we were little, Aba was really small. So it was between school and these places that I mentioned. But as I got older, I started discovering that Aba is not just a small town. It's a nice place, very commercial city. Started meeting new people. And but before I could really explore Aba, I left the town.
His passion for his craft is clearly shown when he speaks about how he chose his career.
My first love was the camera, okay? So it wasn't more like, I like taking artistic pictures or anything, but I just fell in love with the camera as a gadget. So I thought it was cool to own a camera. When I go out, when we go on holidays, even back when we go to the village for Christmas or Easter holidays, because we do that a lot. We did that a lot when we were kids. And I see the people that come back from out of the country and they have the cool point and shoot camera. So I always thought it was cool. So I get on my mom's back, say I need a camera. So my mom, I think my first camera was from my mom. And yeah, I just took pictures randomly for fun. So I take the pictures, go to the lab and ask them to print it. And it just kept happening like that. So I remember at some point, one of my aunt that lives in the US asked me what I wanted her to get for me as a gift. And I said I wanted a camera. So she bought me one of the cool Canon cameras that when you turn it on, the lens comes out. So it was really cool. So that's where the whole love for camera, I think. But as I did, I didn't know that I was going to end up here. I didn't know what I was doing. But thinking about it now, I think that's where that has always been a sign. It's been in there.
You don't struggle to believe in where you are going to. The moment they tell you that, it's there. And when it dies, it's not just about what you did not achieve. It goes beyond that because you start. I mean, look at, we're here today and we're about to have this talk to inspire and encourage other people. So imagine if I had killed that dream then, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation today.
Am I wrong for saying that I choose another way? I ain't trying to do what everybody else doing, just cause everybody doing what they are.
George, who looks to reinvent himself, shares his journey on George Okoro Weddings.
I remember clearly when I started thinking about it, I knew I had to do some research. I had to see if this is possible. If I pick up this camera for a living, is it going to put food on my table? Because it wasn't more like, oh, okay, this is just passion. I was leaving my work to take on this as a business, as a means of survival. So I was constantly looking at people like Obi Somto, people like Julia Lakija, people like the guy called Dudu Guy. So all I do when I come back from work is I'm on the internet, I'm on my computer, looking at their work, trying to see if I can do things the way they do it, and I end up spending so much time. Sometimes I go to bed 4 a.m. and I barely have 2 hours of sleep, take a shower, and I end up in the office. So I start giving my work 80% of my time. So it's really affecting me at work. But because this is something that I really wanted to do, and I believed strongly that if I put in, 100%, I was going to get results. So, gradually I got myself another camera. I was able to save some money, and I got a good camera, and I hit the streets. So what I do was I just go out, random friends having small events. I just go there and take pictures randomly, and people were finding it interesting. And I said, okay, if they like this, why don't I try to see if I can charge them to do it? So that was really difficult. So nobody wants to pay a rookie, nobody wants to pay you just to take pictures. So it was even difficult to get 5,000 off anybody. It was really difficult. So I was thinking, how do I turn the table? How do I make them pay me for these pictures? So back then, the VBN was a big deal, and I saw that people attached a lot of value and sentiment to birthdays. And I saw that, okay, this was a place to start. It wasn't something that happens every year. And even if you miss it, like if I take pictures on your birthday and I don't do great, it's not like a wedding. So there's always another opportunity. So they soft pedal. But I took advantage of the fact that I saw how people take it personal when you don't put up their pictures on their birthday on your DP, when you don't change your display pictures. I said, there's something about this birthday that I can take advantage of. So what I do was, once you put up a picture of someone, I call you up and say, hey, whose birthday is this? I really like to come and photograph for free. That's how I started. I wanted to gain entrance. So they'll talk to the person, this guy wants to come and take pictures. Like, no, boring, who is it, why? It was difficult. But yeah, some people gave me the chance. I remember clearly, Martins was the first person that I got to photograph his birthday officially, absolutely free, if I remember, at Vanilla, the old Vanilla. So he gave me an opportunity. I came there. But prior to that, I already built this fantastic website where I plan to publish the pictures and celebrate you. So I took the model of what Bella Ninja does for weddings. I said, okay, I'm going to put up the pictures and do a story and blah, blah. So when they go there, see it, if they like it, their friends are definitely going to ask them, who did this for you? So I started doing that. So each time they ask me, you took pictures on my birthday, can I get the pictures? So instead of sending them the pictures, I just send you a link. So once I send them the link, they see it, they love it. They put up the link on their BlackBerry status, or they send the broadcast and everybody sees it. And when they open it, they see it, they go on the site, they love it, and the table kind of turns. So they were not looking for my service. So today, pictures are very important. People understand that after my wedding gown, probably my wedding pictures. It's that important because, this is the only thing that preserves your wedding for a lifetime. Every other thing goes, the food, the makeup, the drinks, everything goes. But the wedding picture stays for your children, your great-grandchildren to enjoy. Now, throughout the progress of my career, I've seen that there's a lot of demand. I sound funny or boastful when I say it. I don't mean to be cocky. But honestly, people fell in love with the brand. For some reason, I don't know, there must be something that we're doing right. So people are constantly asking people want to see their pictures, people want to be identified with the brand, basically. And in the industry today, when it comes to wedding magazine, we have magazines out there, but we don't really have a magazine like the one that we created. So it's sort of different.
My very close friend here, who was also my classmate, gave me the opportunity to photograph my first international wedding. I know you might not be able to guess where that country is. I didn't get on a plane. That country is called Niger Republic. Funny enough, I was supposed to board a flight from Abuja to Sokoto, but I missed my flight. And that was the first time I was ever going to go to the far north. Typically, you might say, oh, I missed my flight is a sign, I shouldn't be traveling to that part of the country or whatever. But instead, I hit the road to the park, entered a small starlet vehicle, if I remember, it's red in color, and I went on a 10-hour ride to Sokoto. Got there late in the night, found myself in a hotel where I rested for the night, and hit the road, got into Niger Republic. I couldn't communicate with anybody, but I found my way just before the wedding ended. And yes, look at where we are today. We've done weddings in the UK, in Gambia, in South Africa, in Ghana, in Germany, in the US. Where else? Where else have I not mentioned? So the first wedding was a fluke. There was no plan. I attended my friend's pre-wedding dinner at Sub-Mediterranean or something like that. Sub-Med, they call it, in Asokoro. I went there with my camera, took pictures. You know, I really took out my time because the place was absolutely beautiful. They had this, what they call it, a piano set somewhere by the corner. And I had some friends, because this guy was my friend from school. We were classmates back then in school. So I saw a lot of people, so I was comfortable there. So I was taking pictures randomly. So that night, after that party, the main event, so he just told me, George, I'm going to take you to Kaduna to take pictures at my wedding. So I froze for a second because how am I supposed to? This is a wedding. I've never done a wedding before. Hope I'm not going to mess this up. So I ended up in KD. Shot that wedding, and for some reason everybody loved it. And it had my name on it. You know, people kept asking him, so who is this guy? Who is this George Okoro guy that shot your wedding pictures? And from that wedding, we got the next wedding, and the next wedding. There was a wedding in particular that we did also in Kaduna. I seem to have a thing with Kaduna because my wife is also from Kaduna. So that particular wedding was in KD, and I was torn between going for my friend's wedding in London. I was supposed to be part of his groomsmen, or to take this wedding. So it wasn't, I mean, I was going to be paid to shoot the wedding. At the same time, I was going to spend my money to go for my friend's wedding in London. So I was really torn in between. But the bride really wanted me to shoot the wedding. The bride and her sister, the bride's name is Aisha, and her sister Fatima. It was like they called me to their house for a meeting and said, hey, you have, I was like, what do these people see in me that I'm not the only photographer, but they really want me to do the wedding. So that gave me a boost. I said, you know what, I'm going to let this wedding in the UK rest. Let me shoot this wedding. And while we're at it, after the first event, on the day of the second event, I put out some pictures while she was getting ready. And immediately it was like magic. So calls were coming in, people were calling me, different magazines, different blogs. Hey, we want to feature this wedding on our website. We want to publish this wedding on our magazine. You know, even at some point during the wedding, one of the bride's friends came and handed me a phone and said somebody wants to talk to me. And it was still about, hey, we just saw these pictures. The whole Instagram was still the new boss then, but Instagram was literally on fire. People changed their display pictures on Instagram, the blogs. In fact, people created blogs because of that wedding. I'm not kidding you. Blogs were coming up just to talk about that wedding. So that wedding was like the wedding that changed the game for me.
His positive spirit of venturing into the business is definitely his driving force.
Just imagine when your father asks you, so you want to become a cameraman. And you know, ideas are very vulnerable at their infancy. So if you don't have a strong, not even passion this time, if you don't strongly believe in where you are going to, the moment they tell you that it's there.
I love, okay, I like, is it ogbono soup and draw soup a lot. And I like beans a lot. I like beans and plantain. So it's between draw soup and beans. I've not made up my mind. Maybe next time you meet me, catch up with me, I'll tell you which one is right.
Am I wrong for thinking that we could be something for real? Oh, yeah. Oh. Now am I wrong for trying to reach the things that I can't see? Oh, yeah.
Every journey has its challenges, but I really don't look at them as challenges. I look at them as, part of the journey. For example, my birthday pictures does not exist anymore, but I will not attribute that to, I will not call that failure. It was part of the process to where we are today. We've had challenges. I mean, it's not been easy. We've had challenges with having to get all the equipment together to do this, having to build a perfect team that can understand and work with you. Because as a creative, you can't do it alone. It never happens with you alone. You need to have a perfect team behind you, to do all the magic. When I said I wanted to do this, I believed so much in myself that this thing will work. Yeah, I knew it was going to work. By God's grace, obviously, but I was very convinced. So there was no point where I said, is it worth it? Nah, it has always been worth it from day one. That's one thing I believe in life, is you can be whoever you want to be. I mean, it's difficult in a society like Nigeria for you to say, I want to be a photographer. If you don't believe in that dream, you'll be easily convinced to say, how you want to become a cameraman, that kind of thing. But if you strongly believe in whatever, I mean, if Donald Trump can be president of the United States of America today, if you think about it clearly, it's really that simple. Whatever it is you put your mind to. I'll give you an example. If you are playing soccer now, the aim is to put the ball at the back of the net. So there's a goal, there's something you are trying to achieve. But for you to be able to achieve that, you need to kick the ball. The moment you kick the ball is rolling. So you might end the first game and you don't score, but you hit the bar once, you've tried. So you're not where you used to be, so you're actually making progress. So for anybody out there, whatever it is in life, you want to pick up a camera, first you need to have a clear picture of where you want to be, let's say in the next 5 years. Once that picture is in your head, now you need to kick that ball, let that ball start rolling. You never know. You see, if you don't kick the ball, you never know. You can kick the ball, you get hurt, you get injured for life, and that's the end. But then again, that's your mistake. The last kind of mistake you want to make in life is someone else's mistake. Like when someone is living their life through you, especially when they're dead, but they're still living through you because they said, oh no, I want you to be a medical doctor. That's not your life. But your life is the one you said, this is what I want to do. Even when you make mistakes, it's never really a mistake. There's no such thing as mistake. Because it's just still leading you to that same path where you want to be in life.
Without a doubt, George Okoro has made his mark in all sectors. The household name is so much of an influence, and we do not share this view alone. When asked to describe George in one word, these words say it all.
Well, I think George is very amazing.
Determined. My inspiration is a mentor.
Is standing right here.
Extremely
So we do have 3,000.
Excellent.
Innovative, talented.
Super talented. He's a bandwagon.
George is an amazing person.
George is like Picasso of photography. George is a hardworking, classy man.
Loyal, gentle, soft, calm, extremely calm, and very positive, extremely positive person.
I think the word that comes to mind when I think about George Okoro is consistent.
So I think that's a good person with a good heart.
Wow.
That's just how I feel.